Hello, Scrappy Peeps. Suzanna here today for the Scrap Room, and I'm sharing with you a layout I created using the Flavor of the Month's October kit, and I'm using PhotoPlay, and the name of the collection is called Fall Breeze. So that was the layout that I just showed you that I created, and the focal point of this layout is actually a digital cut file that you can get from the Silhouette store. It is created by Amanda McGee, and the ID number for that cut file is 277354, and I'll put that in the description box below. So I cut the file out of the craft cardstock that comes with the kit, and I am going to back the words fall. So I chose 3 of the B-side pattern papers, and then I chose that cute little fox to be poking through the opening of the L as my 4th pattern paper. And all I'm going to do, it's so easy to back digital cut files. All you have to do, there's 2 ways you can do it actually. The easy way, quote unquote, is to, in your Silhouette, go and use the outline file and then outline the cut file or the part of the cut file, and then you can erase what you don't want to use. If you want to see a video of this, leave me a link, just leave me a comment in the description box below, and I will see if I can come up with a sort of a quick video tutorial to show you how to do that. But you can create your own outlines within Silhouette Studio, but I find it a whole lot easier so that I can play with the design of the pattern paper. I literally just trace the outside of the file with a pencil, cut it within the line of the pencil so that it doesn't go to the outside, and then just use a fine tip applicator to put adhesive and glue that down, so that basically you're kind of creating like a puzzle. So that's all I've done here, is I've used my pencil to outline what it is that I want for the letter shape. I'm cutting within it, and I do sometimes have to trim just a teeny tiny bit, but really not a whole lot, because I've gotten pretty good at doing this. So you can use a fine tip applicator as well, or I find it's just a whole lot easier to use this is a Martha Stewart glue pen, or you could use, if you like the Prima glue pen like I like, you could use that as well. But what I like about the Martha Stewart pen, is that I don't get adhesive on that foam core that I'm working on top of my table, so that you have a little bit more light as I'm recording video there. So that's how I back a digital cut file. And really the nice thing about the digital cut files is you can do any color combination that you want to. I do try and do a balance so that there's something heavy and light and heavy and light alternating through that file. And that's why I chose those 4 particular pieces of pattern paper, or B-sides really, is because I had that orange in the middle that was sort of heavier, and it added weight because it was that big A is a heavier letter, and it added weight to the word with that orange and the blue on the outside of that L that tied everything together there. So I'm going through each of those 4 letters, doing the exact same process, and really that is the bulk of the pattern paper on the layout there. That's where a lot of the color comes from, and having that little fox poking through the window is really cute, in that, again, it adds a little bit more visual interest to that. But because I did use that blue pattern paper, I do have to tie blue, or I don't have to, but I choose to tie that blue in somewhere else, which I will do through the elements and the ephemera in the layout there. So you can see how I do have to do a little bit of trimming, but really it's not hard to do. You just kind of fold your paper a little bit off of where you've adhered it, and then trim that with the scissors there. And it's not really quite a fold, you bend it is what I want to say. So I have that striped piece from the kit that is going to go up the top there, and in a minute I'm going to go upstairs and I'm going to actually just adhere sew that edge down. So what I do in order to not gum up my needle is I put adhesive at the top, and then I'm going to stitch at the bottom, and I want to keep the adhesive away from there so as to not gum up the needle. So you can see the adhesive there went up the top. I'm going to go upstairs because my sewing machine is upstairs. There I showed you the stitched edge, and then it's time to build the rest of the layout there. So really I could have just left it like that. It would have been a very simple layout, but it really would have been just as effective because I still have all of that pattern paper. But I like to build a few more layers into my layouts, and so what I've got here, this is jute from my stash. This is from, who is this from? It's not Maya Road, May Arts. And I wasn't sure what I wanted to do with it, so I just left it kind of draped across my layout while I worked on the rest of this layout here. So this picture is of fall last year. What I love about fall is that I get to wear sneakers, hiking shoes, and hoodies. And I had created this picture. I think it was one that ended up going on social media, probably just on Instagram. And it created a diagonal across the photo. And I just liked that visual play. And I wanted to document things that I love about fall. And I found that sentiment that was in the cards of the kit that was perfect for this layout, and it says, "I'm so glad I live in a world where there are Octobers," because here in the hemisphere that I live in, October does mean fall. I realize it doesn't for all of you, but that it was a perfect sentiment that really just captures the feeling of what I wanted for this layout. So I had that frame there, and I thought that I wanted to put a little bit more pattern paper down the bottom, and that frame would serve as a nice balance between the top of the page and the bottom of the page, but it actually ended up being competing with it, so I got rid of that. So now I'm digging through the ephemera and the stickers and different things just to decorate the page, and I love the way that that orange tab on the left hand side of that quote makes you be aware of that quote there and ties that lighter 3x4 journal card into the photo and the rest of the layout there. And so you almost have like this diagonal movement that is created by that diagonal stripe to the top. Then your eye is captivated by that really bright orange in fall, and then down to the orange where the quote unquote journaling, it's really more of a subtitle, is going to go. I thought I needed something around that journaling card because it's kind of stark and it gets lost into the background because I have a white background. So I tried pattern paper, you saw that, and that didn't work. And so I'm just going to use a brown pen and outline that, and then I have that orange tab there that's going to punctuate that as well. I have not in my photos stamped the date on that, but that's what I intend to do, stamp the date over there to the left. I don't actually know the date. These are pictures from last year. Because I'm on design teams, it's actually funny and interesting how scrapping goes in for me, because I have been on design teams for a good chunk of my scrappy career, quote unquote. I save photos from 1 year and scrap them a year later, and it's not a full year later, but close to a year later, so that you get ideas as my viewer of how you can scrap upcoming pictures. When I wasn't on design teams, I really liked that I could see what other people had done, and it gave me an idea of the kind of photos that I wanted to capture in order to scrap and preserve my memories. So that is my plan here. These are last year's pictures. So I have figured out most of the embellishments that I want on this page, and I decided what I'm going to do with this jute is I'm just going to double it up, tie a bow, and that is going to be the center of the A there. I can't actually honestly remember in the actual cut file if there was a center to the A, and if there was, I lost it somewhere along the way, which I often do with these things. I don't think there was, though, and so I thought that that ribbon served as a perfect center to the A. So then I'm going to go through the stickers in this PhotoPlay collection from my Scraproom kit, and I'm just going to find some other fun little things. There's a couple of white spaces, and I like white spaces in my layout, but there were some, these weren't white spaces, these were holes. So you can see where I put those two falling leaves with the leaf trail coming down off of the border there, or the header. And then I wanted to put something on that right hand side there. I almost felt like I needed something of weight in that orangey red. You could see where I was pointing there that I really wanted to put something. And I have that heart, but it's almost too dark. So then I tried this leaf, and that didn't work for me. So I just kind of play with the elements, and when I take stickers off and I don't like them, they easily slot back into that slot on the sticker sheet. And I really wanted to use this heart because to me it's a symbolism. Fall truly is my favorite season, and so having that heart, it was a symbolism that I wanted to use that. I wanted that third leaf again just for the trio that tied things together, and it was a splash of red as well. And then I'm going to put that arrow that says favorite time, and what I haven't done and I don't do in the video but I do off camera is I do also take that same brown pen that I outlined the 3x4 card and outlined favorite time as well, again just to draw your eye to it. And it kind of works with that across stroke, middle across stroke in the F, and you can see where I put that other blue element, the little cotton there, to go with the blue that's in the L. And then I just took some of my mists. I believe this is some really old, I forget, Tattered Angels, and just splattered some color around, kind of like you see in fall when the leaves are falling, and that it was some Heidi Shine. So that, my friends, is the end of my layout. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to leave them in the box down below. Thanks for stopping in today. I hope you're doing well. Take care.